Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Tuesday, June 2nd. So, what are we going to talk about today? It's kind of like that failure to plan kind of is a failure. I don't know how it goes, but I can give you a couple examples this morning about what's going on here. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd of 2026. When I was younger, I flew by the seat of my pants. I'll be honest with you. And did everything turn out perfect? Not even close. But did I get a lot of things accomplished? Yeah. More luck than anything. And I'll be honest with you. But as I gotten older, it's kind of like instead of on a whim doing something, why not do a little bit of planning ahead, right? Because if you plan ahead, everybody is on the same page. And that way you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. And people can plan their schedule, so that it's not a conflict. Because I've gotten into those situations of when I was younger, is that, had I taken the time to talk with other people to get their help early on, they could have planned for those things. But if I give them a shout that morning and say, okay, I'm going to put up a house, everybody in, well, most people got plans already. And that's what I mean. An example was just yesterday when, as I was telling you guys, I have a cattle buyer that's interested in buying my herd. Okay. And we were trying to come upon a price. I had one number, he had another number. I said, "You meet me in the middle." He come up a couple grand, but not close to the middle. And I said, "You know what? All right, I'll take it. But here's the deal. You're going to do all the heavy lifting. And that means you're going to figure out how to get these animals out." He's got horse, he's got dart guns, he's got all that stuff, he's got help. Claude and I will get hurt because a couple of these bruisers are over a ton, and the bulls, they will stand their ground with you. I've got two of them in there. And I've got one steer that I call Coco, and there's a reason we call him Coco. It's because he's crazier than a monkey's you know what. But we left it at that last Friday. Deal's done. We're going to go with that, and I'm going to take a year or two off, maybe not even get back into them because there are a lot of work, but I enjoy the animals, but I got two German Shepherds to keep me preoccupied. All right, bring it up to last night at just about, I don't know, 20 after 5. And I get a message from his guy saying, guess what? Did you get that roadway built down into your pasture so we can start loading tomorrow around 9:30, 10 o'clock? First of all, maybe I worded it wrong to him when I said heavy lifting. Heavy lifting to me means you figure it out. Don't ask me to do it. You figure it out. If you pay me for the cows, and then you figure out how to get him out of there, and we're done. Now, if I have to start doing the heavy lifting, which is building a road down into that pasture, that's taking my time, my machinery, my fuel, my everything to do the heavy lifting. And the guy's like, well, I didn't tell, my boss that he had to do the heavy lifting. I said, that probably would have been a good thing to say. So I may have canceled that deal out, but, I'll stand my ground. I have cardiac rehab today. I have other plans at the shop, and to drop everything to try to help somebody else out that could meet you in the middle, screw you. If you're going to tell me that that I'm willing to take that price as long as you're doing the heavy lifting and then you come ask me to do the heavy lifting, no, that's not how things work in this world. In the world of business, if somebody tells me, yeah, I'll sell you the lawnmower, but you got to do the heavy lifting, and that is getting it onto the trailer and getting it home. You need to figure out how to get it on the trailer and get it home. That's not the previous owner's deal. You've paid them. You are going to be responsible for doing the rest. And that's the way I work, that. But we have the equipment. So we have the winches. So if it's a dead mower, which I don't buy very many dead mowers, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, had they come at me and said, look, Eric, we'd like to get the cows out as soon as possible, said this to me Friday when we made the deal. Could you at least put some dirt down so we can back our trailers in? I'd have probably said, yes, I'll see if I can't get that done this weekend to help you out because I'm willing to help just about anybody else out. But you can't approach me the day before and tell me you're coming tomorrow morning and you want a road bill and you want me to be there to help you get those cows onto the trailers. Not when we leave at 11:30 and you're showing up at 9:30, 10 o'clock. You're not going to have those animals on by the time I have to leave. And I'm not chasing. My legs, I do the treadmill deal, but we're not up for long-term hiking to try to find cows. And that was the other thing that I explained to him. My cows are on a feeding schedule. They know that they're going to get fed somewhere around noon to 3. So that's the better time to show up because they're going to be up here waiting for their treat, their grain. Not 9 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning, they could be the other side of the farm. And then that would require us to go looking for them because if they went looking for them, they go through fences because they don't like strangers. That's the next thing, right? So, what do you do when your cows get nervous around strangers? That's a good question. These guys handle wild animals all the time. They're not wild, but they will become wild with a few of them in there that will jettison like Coco in a heartbeat when they see something that doesn't look kosher to them. They will run the other direction. I'm not into chasing. What's the better way? Dart them, the ones that are high strung, and then bring the rest of them in with horses and corrals and get them on your trailer. Easy peasy, right? You got the equipment, you got the manpower, and you've got the wherewithal to do it. Could I load animals onto my trailer? I have a cattle trailer, and I've got a loading dock where I back up. I just got to move a little bit of dirt, and they could load it right there. But Claude said that he didn't think that would work because it's too muddy in there or something. I don't know. We used it every year. The problem I've got is I could get half of them on trailers, just Claude and I. The problem develops at that point of now that you got the easy ones, now what are you going to do? You don't have the mothers of the misfits that like to get out and go roaming to the neighbor's flower beds. So if you get rid of the moms aren't going to keep the younger ones in line, I guess is the best way to put it. But that's the way it is in business. You can only float by the seat of your ass for just so long. And then it's going to come around and bite you in the ass. If you don't plan and, trying to get ahead isn't always going to be really fast where you see instant results. Some things take planning and things move at a slower pace, but you're still gaining ground. No, it doesn't matter what you want to do with your business. If you want to increase customers, I don't know of any surefire way to get a bunch of customers in a hurry other than to say the first 10 people get theirs for free. And my luck, only 9 would show up. So I'd be stuck fixing 9 machines for free. No, it's a deal where it's one machine at a time. Your reputation is very important, and getting the right customers is another. You don't want just any customer. When I first started out, I took any customer I could get. And I think everybody does. Most people do. Until they get a year or two under their belt where they just don't have the time or the energy to deal with certain customers. That's how I do it. I thin out the herd when it comes to customers, the ones that require a lot of effort and I don't get much back for results. I don't I don't make it available that I'll work on the machine the following year. And I got one right now that I've been kind of hinting at Claude and I back and forth of if this would be his last year because it's kind of like pulling teeth. And a lot of stuff that goes on with his machine is operator error. He could apologize all he wants for this and this and this, but still, if you broke it, it's going to cost you to fix it. Even though we had everything perfect when you left, and all of a sudden these things started breaking on you, it doesn't mean it wasn't right. It means you were operating it wrong. Failure to plan for me doesn't work anymore. I mean, I have to have it planned out. My son is a lot like me in a way, and he'll just on a whim, let's go fishing. That I don't mind too much. But then it's like, where do we get the night crawlers or worms? And all right, I got gas in the truck. If I know the Friday before Saturday that we're going to go fishing, I usually run to the local bait shop, pick up worms, top the truck off, get everything loaded in the back of the truck. So when they show up, we just head up into the woods to do some trout fishing. And I usually pick up donuts and stuff like that so that it's in the truck when we head up through. That way, everybody has a little bit of a treat. My grandfather taught me that. When we used to go up as kids, he'd bring along a frying pan, butter, flour, salt and pepper, Vienna sausages, and pork and beans. And he used to tell us, I got the Vienna sausages and the pork and beans in case you guys don't catch any fish. But if you guys catch fish, I brought flour to roll the trout in. We'll have trout and beans to go with it. We never failed to produce fish. My brother and I, we were both really good fishermen. So by the time we got to him, he had a campfire going, a shore lunch, and he'd be sitting in the truck doing his crosswords puzzles and stuff like that. And then once he'd see us, he'd come out, get the frying pan going, and all right, boys, get your fish cleaned and get them over here. I'll tell you, those trout tasted a heck of a lot better right there on the shore than any trout that I put in the freezer and had later on. You can't beat a shore lunch. If you get a chance to do that, do that. It's well worth it. But again, it's planning out your day, planning out your week, planning out your month. I'm not saying that if something comes up, you know, of where something needs to be done, don't interrupt me or something. You can try, but I may have plans already. And then you're going to leave me in a situation where I got to weigh, are these plans more important than these? Of course, any family emergency, whatever plan I got gets thrown out the window because family comes first, friends come first. If there's something seriously going on with them, but if it's something that they're trying to get accomplished, I will give them my spiel on the better way is to let me know a week and ahead of time so that I know that I'll be doing that. I'd be more than happy to help you, but I can't do it tomorrow because this is going on, that's going on, just like the cattle dealer, right? In the comments, what do you guys think? I mean, do you guys fly by the seat of your pants or do you try to plan out your week? I'm usually planning out the weekend, the following weekend now. And we've already been doing that. I mean, Sunday I'm going to visit my wife. Saturday, as far as I know, there's no auction, so I can get some other things caught up, including the yard. I'm planning as I go. On that note, you guys have a great Tuesday, and we'll be back here bright and early tomorrow morning for another episode of the weekday. Put in the comments what you think, other than a rambling old man, right? All right. You guys have a great day.